Hello, and welcome to She Comes By, a podcast where I interrogate my friends about their sexuality. I'm your host, Alex Mannix. On this week's episode, we have a very special guest. And to introduce that very special guest
is another special
guest, podcast favorite, friend of the pod, also friend of our guest, Allie Rogers.
I have friends everywhere.
You have friends all over, bi-coastal friends.
Yeah. Okay, but we're here to introduce someone really wonderful, Rebecca Cook. Yay!
Yay!
Crowd goes crazy.
Yeah, Rebecca's great. We love Rebecca. We actually recorded this interview at our 10-year college reunion, where Allie was also in attendance.
Yep. Luckily, I didn't have to record an interview. But yes, Alex and Rebecca very cutely recorded it in Maddie and Hannah's car.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy this episode. Rebecca talks a lot about her favorite drag stars and her favorite biographies. So we hope you enjoy. And thanks for coming by and joining us. Rebecca, I like to have people introduce themselves on this podcast. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh my God. Hi. I am Rebecca Cook. I'm 31. I live in Belmont, Massachusetts. I am partnered to a man who I've been with for 1,000 years at this point.
Approximately, yes.
I am a bisexual, a bisexual, 2+ 100 sexuals. So I qualify to be on this podcast.
You do qualify. Well, Rebecca, who are we to each other?
I would say we are very good friends. I remember Alex many, many years ago in the same building, 2 floors below, holding out to me and saying, "Would you like some lemonade?" Which was honestly like the kindest thing that anyone had ever done since I got to this school. It felt that way at the time, just because, being a freshman is hard at a college. Being away from home is hard and making new friends is hard. And I was like, look at this beautiful, kind person that just has so much light and energy and goodness, and I just can't wait to make friends with her and get to know her, and this kindness just means so much to me in this moment. And so spent many, many, many hours with her since, and can't wait to spend many, many hours with her in the future.
Oh, Rebecca, that's so sweet. I should say we are here in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, together in the Marion dorm, which was the dorm that we lived in freshman year together. I lived on Marion first. Rebecca lived on Marion second. And that's where this fated lemonade event happened.
Yes, we're at our 10-year reunion.
Yes, we're at our 10-year reunion. We graduated college in 2015, and now it's 2025.
Insane.
And, wow, 10 years later. I do want to ask you a little bit about what you're up to in your life, but you did mention you're partnered to a man who you've been with for about 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear how you met this man.
This feels like a plug. I wonder why. Well, we'll find out. So Alex played a pivotal role in me meeting this wonderful partner of mine. Also met at Bryn Mawr College. Alex knew him first through a cappella, through some gentle hazing.
Very gentle.
Very gentle. Remembered with affection by both, I would say.
Yeah. Gentle, affectionate hazing.
Yes.
Which maybe for legal purposes we shouldn't call hazing, but...
No, yes.
But who's, whatever.
Yes. So Alex and my partner were both freshmen in a cappella groups, and they were being welcomed to the college. My partner's name was Henry, and he was blindfolded and brought to Bryn Mawr and made to sing in front of Alex's group, and they played a game, and they each had fuck names. And so they didn't actually, fuck names meaning that they didn't actually learn each other's names, but they took a name, they picked a word and then had fuck. Word plus fuck was their name. So
I was Dino Fuck because I was painted like a dinosaur, because the gentle welcoming that we were given was like we were told we made it in the group, and then they said there's a concert in an hour, the theme is dinosaur, be there. And we were like, great.
And I actually remember you putting the dinosaur makeup on, which is kind of beautiful.
Oh my God, you're right. I remember, yeah, I like you guys were painting me in Marion first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my name was Dino Fuck because I was painted like a dinosaur. And Henry's name was Happy Fuck.
Yes.
Because he was very happy.
Yes, he's got quite the smile. So he was taking class at Bryn Mawr because there's a bico, and anyway, so he was taking
a bi-college relationship.
A bi-college relationship, bi all over the place. Henry and Alex encountered each other on campus, and they didn't know each other's names, and so they had lunch together. And I knew Alex from the Lemonade and subsequent hanging out. So they were having lunch together, and I was working in the dining hall. I had my high school boyfriend visiting me at the time.
I think relevant, we both had high school boyfriends at this time.
Story is all over the place. We had high school boyfriends at the time. My high school boyfriend that was carried over was visiting me, and I was like, oh, well, let's go have lunch with Alex. And I came over in my grubby dining hall gear with my little Erdman hat, still smelling like probably the meat that I'd washed off that day. And I remember sitting down, and my high school boyfriend came over. And my memory of that day is that Henry and I talked the whole time and no one else talked. That's probably not how it actually happened. But I do remember walking away from the building saying to my high school boyfriend, that guy and I just flirted the whole time, didn't we? And he was like, yeah, that is kind of what happened.
And here we are 14 years later. High school boyfriend, nowhere to be found.
No hanky-panky. Nothing untoward happened. Ended things with the high school boyfriend, but, fell in love along the way. And yeah, now we have a cat son together, and
my nephew.
Alex's nephew, and Alex made it happen. So thankful for Lemonade, thankful for dinosaurs, thankful for washing meat, and yeah, for Bryn Mawr.
Wow, what a lovely story that I am a part of.
Yeah,
and I love to hear that
Thanks
story.
To Alex.
Well, Rebecca, what are you up to? What do you spend your time doing in the world?
Great question. I take a lot of walks. There are adolescent geese now at the ponds near my house. So I like to watch their little lemon butts because they were tiny little guys, and now they're like kind of like brown and getting bigger. I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, which as a bisexual is, I think, one of my favorite experiences to have, because God, it's just so fun to celebrate people and beauty in this show. To be like, oh my God, it's so cool to have a crush on this person as a man and not as a woman, or to have a crush on this person as both a man and a woman, or, anyway, all the iterations in between. Such a fun celebration of queerness and queer identity and beauty and fashion.
Yeah.
Creativity.
I actually, so funnily enough, that is like a hole in my queer, like, culture education, is that I am not familiar, or I'm familiar with RuPaul's Drag Race as a concept. And like, I've seen a few episodes here and there, and I obviously like know what it is as a cultural phenomenon, but I like have not watched like a full season through. Like, I'm not as familiar with, the drag stars, like all the different stuff. So are you watching first season to like current? Are you skipping around? What's your favorite? Who's your favorite? Teach me about RuPaul's Drag Race.
Love it. So I started with season 4. I think the seasons before that, the production value is just very different. watching from season 4, and now I'm through season 15, watching the transformation of the show is incredible. Even like the definitions of drag and like how queer culture has shifted, and how even like they start in season 4, they're like, yeah, you gotta have tits. Like, you gotta have tits. And
it's just worth saying twice. You gotta have 2 tits.
You gotta
have tits.
Well, like, anytime they don't have like breastplates on, the judges are like, you look like a little boy. And like, now, which, you know, definitions of womanhood, that's not true. Like, obviously drag is like it's larger than life. It's larger than just womanhood, but it is in some ways celebrating so many aspects of gender and womanhood. So it's interesting now to see that there's so much more in between. But a thing I love about it too is that even from the early seasons, there are so many different body types that are celebrated. It was a little hard for me to start watching because I think a big difference between like dyke culture and gay male culture is like comments about bodies. So like at first I was like, oh wow, they are like really talking about every aspect of these men's bodies, and that makes me uncomfortable, like, because they're talking about them like dressed in drag, and it felt like, I don't know, like I'm like, I'll never be as beautiful as these men in drag, and they're also critiquing them. And I didn't watch Project Runway or anything like that, and so it was just hard for me to like click into that a little bit. But once I did, I was like, oh no, it's 100% a celebration, and to see like so many different body types, and it's just a really, really cool exploration. And my favorites, Jinx Monsoon is my number one favorite drag queen, I think. And then, you know, from newer seasons, they also like didn't always include trans women. They include trans women now, which is really fun and cool. And so from some of the newer seasons, like Anitra and Sasha Colby, perhaps my favorite season, there's an all-stars, all-winners season.
Ooh.
The production value, these fits are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, and I think this is a thing I did not know about drag. Like, this was a gap in my, like, understanding, was that it's not just, you know, dressing up and lip syncing or kind of, like, dressing up and being a character. Like, true drag is, you know, they are sewing these outfits. They are designing these characters. And again, like you mentioned, Project Runway, which like I have watched, and how it's like, I think someone described it to me once. It's like, it's Project Runway plus American Idol plus So You Think You Can Dance plus like gay plus like all these different things in a way that it's like, I think before that I had only ever, and this is, I think, I don't know, I don't have an articulate thought around this, but I think the only thing I had been exposed to kind of before that was like a drag bingo brunch. And I kind of, I had been to one of those and like not being as familiar with drag, like how much of an art it is, and also like not as familiar with like the history of it, like, you know, certain things coming from ballroom culture and like Black queer culture. But there was a part of me that was just like, I don't get it. Like, this is fun, but also I don't kind of get the hype. And I'm so glad that my eyes have been opened to the artistry of it, just like the creative genius and the true art form that it is. But I think the fact that, again, my introduction to it was like a drag brunch bingo feels like some of the teeth taken out. Do you have thoughts in your head that would make my thoughts sound more put together?
No, it makes total sense to me. I mean, it is like, it's a whole universe. It is a whole universe, and it's hard to approach a whole universe. And that description of like all of those shows and like all that talent put together and all of that culture put together and distilled is exactly right. And also it's like so commodified. I mean, RuPaul is a brand on a brand on a brand. Like, every freaking season is like, he releases 3 new songs that are part of, like, the season because he's making money off of the whole thing. Which, you know, also people are like, yeah, I mean, this is his business. And some people are like, wait, RuPaul is like a landlord who's making money? Wait, how is that possible? And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's a capitalist. Like, of course, yes. But yeah, no, it is truly incredible and intimidating and cool and also so supportive as well. I turned my sister onto the show like this year because she's wanted things to watch that are not too close to like the political reality, and, you know, even watching people get critiques and having it be hard for them, and also watching people tell stories of like being thrown out of their homes because they have homophobic families, but watching also the support and the queer family that they build on the show. It's really, really intoxicating and validating and like nothing else on television that I've seen.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm curious if your time in Shakespeare Performance Troupe at Bryn Mawr College has any way influenced your thoughts and watching, given that Bryn Mawr is a historically women's college and the Shakespeare Performance Troupe, it was all women and gender expansive folks playing either male roles or roles that had been women roles played by men. Did being in Shakespeare Performance Troupe influence your thoughts on gender and performance?
That's such a wonderful, lovely question. I can't believe I've never thought about it before. Absolutely. Absolutely. It all rolls up into like, I don't know. I've been thinking about being on this podcast and thinking about what it means to be bi and like just how people are beautiful and how we exist in the world is beautiful and how performance of identity in general is beautiful. And yeah, getting to play a man is really fucking fun, and getting to like feel sexy as a man and feel sexy as a woman is so hot. Like, that's so fun. That's the zest of life. And also to feel sexy in all the in-between spaces. Like, to know both and to know the in-between is, I don't know, I think that's so beautiful.
That is so beautiful. One of our fellow alums, who was also in Shakespeare Performance Troupe with us, now does like drag king stuff in Boston. So if you're in the Boston area, check out Minty Breakdown, Drag King. Incredible. So now, Rebecca.
Yeah.
The real question that everyone's been dying to know. Are you bisexual? Why or why not?
Yes, I am. I used to say pansexual. I think I thought that was more inclusive, but I think pansexuals irritate me on the internet, which is a little silly, but I think the puns make me angry.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's where we diverge. I almost said viewers, listeners. Last night at Reunion, there was an LGBTQIA plus social, and we arrived, and there were many, many beautiful stickers on display that we could take. And I found a really fun sticker that was in the pansexual pride colors that said something about pancakes. And I thought it was very cute and fun. And I handed it to Rebecca, and she was not pleased.
Yes. I'm tired of the puns, and I also hate pancakes. That's part of it.
Oh, I also don't like pancakes.
So I'm highly waffles girl, which maybe that's further why I'm bi, you know, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bisexual waffles, people like waffles.
Right. Waffles, not pancakes. I think I also I'm increasingly more and more mad about how there is not enough bisexual representation. I do think bisexual is more common, than pansexual, but
common terminology wise, or
yes. And I know that we're just statistics wise, there are so many of us, and yet we're not as everywhere as we fucking need to be. And it makes me mad. It makes me so goddamn mad. And I think part of it is stigma. I think part of it is not being fully accepted in many spaces, which sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Pansexual is feeling more and more like a, ooh, I don't want to say this.
Ooh, Rebecca, hot takes with Rebecca Cook.
It feels more and more like a Green Party kind of situation.
Oh.
Where, I hate a two-party system because it's fundamentally bad and we should abolish the system.
So what you're really saying is vote pink, purple, and blue no matter who. Oh, no. What you're saying is only vote for bisexual people. But that does kind of lead into, I think, this next question, which is, what does bisexuality mean to you?
Bisexuality to me means finding the beauty in every person. I really love the feeling that I don't have a type, which is not necessarily something that every bisexual will identify with, but I kind of love that I never know who I'll meet, that I will find something charming or beautiful or lovable about them. I think that's a beautiful thing about the world, that I'll be drawn to someone, what feature about them I'll find pleasing, regardless of gender. Bisexuality also means to me getting to watch movies and falling in love with both main characters and feeling like I can both fall in love with and embody both of them, particularly if it's both man and a woman. I want more movies that star non-binary characters, because I would also like to have that experience. But yeah, finding every kind of person charming. That's what bisexuality means to me.
Yay. You also touched on this a little bit, but what words do you use to describe yourself?
I say gay. I say gay more and more, and I say queer more and more. I think I didn't like queer before because I think I actually felt like queer and gay felt more exclusive than they do to me now. So I've started using them more. I feel actually the same way about partner, especially being bi. I don't know if you've had this experience, being with a man. For a while I was I'm not going to say partner because I feel like I have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? I'm bi, and partner is often used for people in relationships with same-sex relationships, you know what I mean? But I feel like now partner is just more common, which I actually prefer in general. I think we shouldn't have to have gendered terms, but again, I don't know, that's just an indication of a hyperfixation on in-group, out-group, which internalized biphobia, an experience.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So I'm being mostly not serious, but maybe a little bit serious when I say it's a pet peeve of mine when particularly straight people use the term partner, because you have a word for what your gendered partner is, and you can just say that. And I fully recognize exactly what you said, maybe partner feels more accurate to those straight people. Maybe also, not everyone in that relationship is straight, even if it's a straight passing relationship. Maybe, and also more people using it generally makes it safer for someone who's queer to talk about their partner and not be out if they don't feel comfortable being out.
Right.
I am just aware that I do think it is better in the long run. It's just in my brain when I hear partner, I think in group. And
absolutely.
I feel a little defensive and a little gatekeepy, Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. I feel that way about the term partner. That's probably one of my hottest takes. I understand why. I understand the nuance, but it's just a little bit pet peevey to me.
I completely
But it's
agree.
I realize I am gatekeeping.
I mean, I don't think it's gatekeeping. I also say boyfriend. I think it feels like one of those things where when people say partner, I kind of feel included. You said partner earlier, and so I used partner. But in general, I say boyfriend because it's also important to me to be as a bisexual person, to be I don't know.
But that's the thing. You're then you're saying partner as someone in the in-group.
Right. But I still wouldn't use that because it's my, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like partners for, well, it is queer relationship. Like, it is gay. Yeah, I don't know.
And also, you're very right. It doesn't have to be gendered. It's like, it doesn't, but yeah, this is my most unreasonable take, I think, is that that's for queer people. But, and like, I'm including also, like, like someone who is queer, like, the gatekeeping is for like exclusively straight couples.
Yeah.
Like, I think if someone, like, I wouldn't begrudge you, a bisexual person, for using the term partner to describe your male partner who, sorry to bring you this in on this, Henry, but is straight.
He's straight.
That's crazy. Not crazy because of his behavior.
He's not closed-minded, but he is straight.
I know, that's wild. And
he likes women. It's something we bond about.
That's so cute. So, when did you realize you weren't straight?
It doesn't feel like a specific moment. I do just always remember, like, growing up, having fantasies about both men and women. I kind of just assumed everyone did. Like, I remember just having conversations in middle school and high school, and, like, people would be like, I mean, I feel like I could, like, kiss a girl, but I couldn't do anything else. And I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting that you feel that way. Or that people would be like, I really think that it's sexy to be with a woman, but really only if a man's around. And I'm like, why is that? I don't know. I've just always felt like everyone's attractive and everyone's beautiful, and isn't everybody that way? So, I mean, I do feel like I have a moment that I thought made me gay where I accidentally saw porn as a child, and I was like, whoa, that was exciting. Because I went to a child's birthday party and they had like bath products, and the brand of the like little foot scrub that we had or whatever was Girls. And so I was like, oh my God, Girls, that's the brand. So I'll go home and I'll want to buy the bath products. So I'll go to girls.com. I know the internet. So I went home on our family computer night, typed www.girls.com. And I was like, oh my God, breasts. Wow.
Rebecca, I've never heard this story.
Look at those. That is a penis going into a vagina. Okay, wow. And then my heart was beating so fast, and I thought I was struck by lightning. So that was maybe the moment that I turned gay. I think I was like 8. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was when I was 8.
Okay, great.
Yeah, girls.com.
Nice round number.
Yeah, converting children since 2001.
Has there ever been a time when you questioned your sexuality?
In general, I think no. I saw a post about this on the internet the other day. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, so I am constantly questioning everything about my life. And so I have questioned everything about my life before, but I do think that my sexuality is something that generally at large I can rely on, because any moments of questioning, being out in the world very quickly, I can just be like, oh my God, look at that beautiful person. So it's easy to come back to it. It is a shining beacon of light, but it is really hard to feel validated in a pretty biphobic world, and also feeling isolated in general, and being biphobic to myself. I don't think that's really questioning my sexuality. I think it's just more like not feeling like I belong, or not feeling like I count in some ways.
I was gonna bring up yeah, or this is a thing I know about you, is that oftentimes when we are talking about queerness or talking about bisexuality, you often remind us that you are also bisexual as if we have forgotten. If I can poke fun at you a little bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Again, last night before we went to the LGBTQIA plus affinity group at our 10-year college reunion, we were all chatting like, oh yeah, let's go over the queer thing or the LGBT things happening. Let's go over. And you said, and me too, because I count. And I was like, yeah. Why? Yeah. Why would you say it like that? Why would you not count? And then I was like, do I not count? Does Allie not count? Does why would you not count? And so this is me poking fun at you because I feel you're off. But also I think it speaks to, like, there's that stereotype of, like, bisexual people are always talking about being bisexual. And I think part of it is to often counter the bisexual invisibility that we feel or whatever. But I think, yeah, it is something interesting to me about you that, like, we are in a group, like, our college group of friends is, like, pretty even split between people who identify as bisexual, people who identify as lesbians. And yeah, it is interesting to me that oftentimes you, mostly jokingly, will have an attitude of, like, don't forget about me. And it's like, we've never forgotten about Rebecca the bisexual. But yeah, I'm curious what you think of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I feel extremely accepted in my friend group. And I feel like it's super easy for me with, like, new queer people that I meet and interact with to, like, relate to them and connect with them. But I think I'm afraid of the broader world in general and feeling like I count. And part of that, I think, is just, like, the queerest world that I was in is in college, where the whole time I was there, I was dating a man. And I don't think I gave myself enough credit, and that's about my relationship with me. I worry that other people at college didn't see me as queer, which then means that I didn't let myself see me as queer because I was in a relationship with a man, which, again, is that biphobia, because it's like people see you in a relationship with a man and then they're like, yep, a straight. So, I mean, part of it is, like, I truly feel like bisexuals are powerhouses, and I want us to be seen more and celebrated more, and I want to do that more for myself. And, like, I feel so special getting to be, like, interviewed, and it's both a beautiful and hard position to be in, to, like, straddle both worlds. And I mean, even talking about, like, knowing that I was bi for the first time, I was saying, like, the moment I turned gay, like, the assumption that women are born straight and then they, like, you can add gay on, like, the internalized biphobia there. Kind of this assumption that, like, there are two worlds. I feel like bisexuals are powerhouses, and, like, that we live in this beautiful gray world, like, this gray area between everything. But I think for so many people, they see it as two worlds, like the gay world and the straight world. And it is beautiful and hard to straddle both worlds, because, like, I do recognize that there's, like, code switching that people have to do between worlds. But I do wish there were more gray area. I wish there were more bi people, and I wish more people assumed that there were more bi people. I want queer culture to be more, like, prevalent everywhere. Like, I want straight people to be more familiar with queer culture. I think everyone's familiar with straight culture. We don't need that. But it's frustrating to, like, be seen as straight or gay. I don't know if you have thoughts about that. The, like, two worlds kind of thing.
In college, when people knew I was queer because I was dating people and dating women and sleeping with women, yeah, there was still an element of, like, kind of looking straight. I looked a lot more traditionally feminine before. I think I passed as straight a lot more. And then 3 years ago, I cut my hair, and I think I just, like, look a little bit more visibly queer now. But then it's also, like, the question of, like, okay, like, what does looking visibly queer mean? I think there, again, like you said, there's so many ways to be queer.
I mean, there's so many aspects. Sexuality and attraction is both personal and a social experience. My attraction to people is both like how I feel and also like an experience of like social and attention and, you know, like it's a social experience. I love people. I love interacting with people. I feel like I get life force from interacting with people. When I think of my connection to people and my connection to life force and my worst fear of like being closed off from people, and then I'm like, what if actually people will ostracize me and I have less of a connection to a life force? And so I'm just like, what if my worst fear is that people will kick me out of this group that I feel so drawn to and part of because of my lack of perceived experience. You know, I haven't dated women or non-binary people. And so what if they're like, you know, when we look at the records, when we look at the score, the math isn't adding up. So we're going to kick you out and you don't get any more of this life force. That makes me sad. So I think that's a big part of it. That's a long-winded way of answering your question about why am I always like, and I count too. It's because I've got some soul searching and therapy to do there.
Don't we all?
It's true.
Don't we all? And it's funny. I think it wasn't a huge part of my Bryn Mawr queer experience, but I remember in my college years and like out in the world, like there were some women who I was like having experiences with and they were like, well, you're going to marry a man. And I was like, okay, but we're kissing. So
can we just kiss, please?
It's like, that's an interesting thing to say to someone who you're kissing. Like, we're drunk and we're on Las Ramblas in Barcelona. Why are you talking about who I'm going to marry? We're kissing.
Oh God.
I just like, that
sounds like something they need to talk about with their therapist.
Totally. But yeah, little bit of a turn. What role does sexuality play in your life?
I've been thinking about this so much lately. Like, I'm still coming out of the COVID hole, been very isolated. I work from home, so it's a little harder, I think, for people to break out of it and see people and talk to people. So I really feel like every kind of conversation I have in person with someone is like a precious pearl of like, I'm like, I need to milk this for every like beautiful, like, what did I learn from this? How did I connect with this person? Like, what does that say about the world? I feel like sexuality is interspersed through that. Sexuality is just like one way that I connect with myself and that I connect with other people and that I connect with the world and feel grounded and feel like a person and like an animal and goddess and a witch and a creature of the skies and of the earth. And I want to be connected to it more. I feel like I forget it so often. I feel like I focus so much on work and like anything within that little box. But I want to be connected to it more because that's the creative squiggly lines that really make life worth living. It's everything to me and what I want to prioritize more. What was the question?
What role does sexuality play in your life? And I think that's great. I think you answered it. Okay. I love the squiggly line of sexuality. The squiggly life force line. I love that.
Yeah. Life force.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is that I tell that you have been reading a lot of bisexual biographies. So I would love to hear about your reading.
I am gripped by memoirs in general. I think they found that out about me. Michelle Zauner, Japanese Breakfast, who is a Bryn Mawr alum, wrote Crying in H Mart, which was my first bisexual memoir or autobiography. Honestly, incredible book. Cannot recommend it enough. I love hearing about the important moments in people's lives that they want to share. Like, I was hanging out with a friend recently who was like, if you had to divide your life into two parts, what would be the end of part 1 and why? And I think that's a really interesting question. And I imagine you have to do the same kind of thing if you're writing a memoir or a book about your life. And I think the coolest part about reading memoirs by people is, you know, seeing their early moments of sexuality, seeing like, I don't know, I had moments with like best friends in childhood where I was like, God, this is the most like beautiful girl in the world and I'm going to marry this girl. Like feeling magical, like holding a friend's hand, you know, those beautiful, like true tokens. I feel like you want to put them on a charm bracelet and then like you get to hold someone else's charm bracelet. Like that's the experience of reading a memoir. And so Crying in H Mart was my first, very emotional, also talking about grief and the experience of her mother's illness and losing her mother. Most recently, I read Alan Cummings' memoir, another bisexual icon, actor, super cool guy, talking about his experience with his dad. Talks less about his sexuality in it, but also gripping story. But also, most recently, I read Ione Skye's memoir. Have you seen Say Anything?
No. I was going to say, who's Ione Skye? I don't know who that is.
Say Anything is a movie from the 80s with John Cusack and Ione Skye. And I watched this movie as a child and I had a crush on both of them. And Ione Skye is just so beautiful. And I found out she was writing a memoir and I was like, I want to read her memoir. And then I read her Wikipedia page and I was like, and she's a bisexual? And now she's married to Ben Lee, who's a musician, like an indie musician. She has a fascinating story because she like is the daughter of Donovan, who's a musician, but she like grew up in LA and was friends with all of these like illegitimate children, like as in abandoned children of like famous musicians.
Whoa.
Growing up in the 70s and 80s in LA, which is really cool, like Mick Jagger's kid and other people like that, and talking about like falling in love with her friends and also sleeping with various famous people.
What do you feel like you get reading, besides a beautiful charm bracelet of experiences? What do you feel like you get specifically out of reading these memoirs by other bisexual folks?
I think it's validating to hear the questioning. I think it's validating to see the moments of discovery and realization and to relive those same moments of realization with them. And to see how people have incorporated that into their lives and what that has meant to them. For Ione Skye, spoiler alert ahead, I mean, it's her life, but she ended up marrying one of the singers from the Beastie Boys when she was like young, like 23 or 24, but she could not sleep with women. So she was friends with Madonna and slept with the woman who Madonna was best friends with and sleeping with for a while, and was just sleeping with all of these women, and like she didn't know how to talk to her husband about it and was feeling really shameful about it. And she was like living two lives because she was just like so excited about really embracing being in love with women and attracted to women. And also she really wanted to be married to this man, and watching that kind of like struggle and experience and realizing that she really needed that she still needed that validation, that she like really wanted this home life of being married and also wanting these new experiences. Like, it's just really interesting to watch, and it's just interesting to watch other people's lives.
I want to read that now. And also confirms my other hot take, which is I think that you get to a certain level of fame and it's just everyone's just it's like sexuality doesn't even matter anymore. You're all just fucking.
Oh my God.
As a very non-famous person, that's just my guess. That's like just what I assume. Like anytime anyone's like, oh, is blank gay? Is blank gay? I'm just like, they're all like, their sexuality is rich and famous. Like
they're bored. What else are they going to do?
Exactly. I could talk to you for hours. Thank you so much for coming to be on this podcast.
So fun.
We are approaching the end of our time together, but I do want to ask you if you want to play a very silly game.
Always.
Okay, so this game, again, comes to us from a mutual Bryn Mawr friend, Nkechi. She is beautiful. She's wonderful. She is a WGA writer available for hire. She's also available for casting. She has great ideas. If you like this game, if you're listening and you are staffing a writer's room, let me know. I'll put you in touch. But it is called Gay, Straight, Bi.
Gay, straight, bi.
I'm going to give you 3 things, and you have to tell me which of them is gay, which of them is straight, and which of them is bi.
I can't wait.
Okay, and the 3 items I have picked out for you. Swarthmore College, Haverford College, Bryn Mawr College.
I think Haverford is straight. I think Haverford is straight. Something about it. They wear New Balance sneakers like I'm wearing right now.
I feel like New Balances have kind of come back in.
They
and
have
it's
come back
confusing
in.
to me, but that's okay. I'm also wearing socks with sandals, so who am I to talk?
I think Bryn Mawr could be bi, but I don't think SWAT could be gay. So I will have to say SWAT is bi. I think SWAT could totally give off bi vibes.
Mm-hmm.
They're interdisciplinary. I feel like they've got like extracurriculars going on. I feel like that gives big bisexual energy to me. And yeah, Bryn Mawr solidly gay.
Great. I love those answers. I think my answers are going to be also Haverford straight.
Yes.
Again, I definitely knew some queer folks from Haverford in my time. No offense to them, but just like the institution of Haverford feels very straight to me.
Oh my God. Very straight lines on all their communications.
Mm-hmm. SWAT, I was also going to call SWAT bisexual, partly because of Genderfuck, which is, I don't know if that even still happens, but there was a party every year called Genderfuck.
Oh, I love that.
And that, I also, the interdisciplinary stuff I think feels right. And then, yeah, Bryn Mawr's gay. Side Girls and Castles, gay.
And rugby.
And rugby. I have one more question for you before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Is, do you have a favorite piece of bi content or bi media that you'd like to share with the group?
I mean, it has to be She Comes Bi-Weekly.
Oh my God.
It has to be. I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, I subscribe to the They newsletter, which is good. I mean...
Do you mean them?
Oh, shit. I mean them. See, their branding is just not that good. I mean them. But honestly, like, I love She Comes Bi-Weekly. It's the greatest celebration, activism, call to action. Just, again, so we were talking about this as a class. Some of these things, it's like, I really should have known some of this stuff. Why is there not a place for this? Why is there not a newsletter about bisexual shit? Well, Alex did it.
Now there is.
She did it.
She came by.
She came by. She just dropped by.
Well, Rebecca Cook, I adore you. Do you have anything else you want to talk about that I didn't ask you about?
I mean, I guess I want to say, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not sure if you're bi and you, like, want to try it on, like, it's a great idea. It's really cool to be bi. I think, like, everybody's kind of bi. Like, it's just, like, it's really cool, and welcome. We love you.
That was so beautiful.
Read Alex's newsletter.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Well, Rebecca Cook, thank you for coming by.
My pleasure. Thank you.
She Comes By is part of the Industry Plant Podcast Network. It's hosted by me, Alex Mannix, and edited and executive produced by Josh Stretton Carlson. If you're interested in more bisexual content, check out the She Comes By Weekly newsletter at shecomesbyweekly.substack.com. That's shecomesbiweekly.substack.com.